So whatever you're working on and trying to solve in your business, read a book about that because you're actually gonna be interested in it. You have a business book that's a page turner because it's talking to you directly of where you're at. So this is a sales pitch why you should read more books and watch less videos like this. And I'm gonna give you tips and tricks to how I went from being not a reader, someone who read about 0 books to half a book a year, to reading 20 books a year plus, and how it's helped grow our business and challenge the way I think. So 1, books are amazing. You get to take someone who's really, really smart and get inside their head for 10 to 15 hours of time. That's like a lifetime experience condensed down. And even I love YouTube, learning stuff on videos and podcasts, but honestly, even people that I love and learn a lot from, any of them that have a book, if I go read their book, I get way more out of that book, and it makes and challenges the way I think more than just all the videos combined. So that's what I'm saying. Read more books. Not that. If you don't know where to start book-wise, on Hugo Tellier's website, I created a reading list of all of my favorite books. Some of them I agree a lot with. Some of them, there's just like 1 or 2 things that I pulled from, but they all have like had meaningful impact the way that I think, the way we run our business, the way I approach personal life, relationships, faith, all that stuff. So if you don't know where to start there. And I'm going to give you a couple tips, tricks, and stuff about reading. So 1, go on the list. If you don't like a book, don't feel like you need to read it. Because I found I used to feel like I needed to like finish the book and I would get discouraged. I would say if you start reading one of these books, the reason why there's so many books on there is that don't force yourself to read it. Second thing is, if you're one of those people that like buy a book and you have to read the whole thing, don't buy it. It's great. There's Kindle, there's samples. So what I do is whenever someone recommends a book, I'll go ahead and just get the sample right away. When I find myself wanting to read, I'll pull up the sample. If I make it through the sample, great. I'll buy the book and I'll just keep reading it. Super easy. If I don't make it through the sample, I just don't buy the book. And maybe I'll come back to it later, but it's an easy way to like get it in your catalog so you don't lose it. Whenever someone gives me a book rec, I always just add it in Kindle. Later, if I want to get the audiobook, if I want to get the physical book, I totally can. But I think every book, even if it's a great book, it may not be the right time for you to read it. There's like the quote, like the teacher will appear when the student's ready. There's been books that I've started to read, did not do it for me. Like I think Start With Why was an example. Jessica read that book like 10 years ago. I tried to read it, did not care for it. I stumbled across it like 2 years ago and I was like, this is exactly what I needed. And now it's one of my favorite books. And I remember Jessica being like, I read that like years ago. And I was like, oh, like, but the point was it wasn't where when I was reading that book back then, it wasn't applicable to like where I was at in our business versus when I read a couple of years ago, it really made sense. And I also like built on other knowledge that I had in other books. So if you're not feeling the book, I'm giving you permission right now, like read a page or 2. If you're not into it, put it to the side, find another book. There's 36 books on the website, so I guarantee one of those will probably fit where you're at. I'm working on putting like kind of quick summaries of how they've helped me in our business too, so you can look through those and hopefully that gives you a little bit of like inspiration of what helps. And there's even categories of like, there's some books that I found on leadership that are really great, books on like figuring out what's the next thing you should be working on, how to hire, how to like run a luxury brand. Like they're all different things. So whatever you're working on and trying to solve in your business, read a book about that because you're actually gonna be interested in it. And it's gonna be like a page turner, right? You can have a business book that's a page turner because it's talking to you directly of where you're at. So give yourself permission. If you're not liking the book, skip to the next one. And then if you're someone like me who struggled to actually read consistently, the pattern I had is I would not read it at all. I'd watch a video like this. Here's some encouraging thing about why I should be reading more. I never questioned it was good. I just had had an issue actually doing it. And I'd read hear a video like this. I would then like read for an hour that day, half hour the next day, and then I would taper off and then stop and then be discouraged and beat myself up over it. And that was my pattern until, ironically, there's a book I was reading called Power to Change by Craig Groeschel. And in it, he talks about how if you want to form a new habit, you need to limit it to be only a habit that takes 2 minutes a day. And what happens when you do it for 2 minutes a day is that you kind of have no excuse to not do it. Like for me, I did that with reading and I could do it earlier in the day, but most of the time I ended up doing it right before I went to bed because it literally took 2 minutes. Like you can't make any excuse to not do a thing like that for 2 minutes a day. So if you do it for 2 minutes a day, what happens is before, the reason why it wasn't working is that I didn't view myself as a reader. So I'd like kind of like white knuckle do it and then I'd get burned out because it's exhausting. But when I did it 2 minutes a day is I actually did it every day. And when I did it every day, I slowly started taking on the identity of a reader. Like people would be talking about books and I feel like I could actually like chime in on the conversation because I was reading a book. even though I was only reading it for 2 minutes a day, I was reading a book. And then over time, those 2 minutes turned to like 5 minutes and then 10 minutes. And I'd actually be reading like more and more every day, but let 2 minutes be a win. And even with that, like, don't let yourself like, oh, like if you stick at 2 minutes, if you only read for 2 minutes a day for a full year, that's still 1 to 2 books, which is crazy. Like just 2 minutes a day, that's 1 to 2 books more than I was normally reading. So if you just stick at 2 minutes a day, that's still a win. If you naturally grow and you actually start building like a desire for it, that's great too. But 2 minutes a day. And if you don't know where to start, head over to the website and you can see a ton of books that have helped us in our business and life. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.